This build will work on any difficulty, especially on hardest honor mode, and while I will show you this on Shadowheart origin character, it's insanely powerful if you use it as Shadowheart companion, of course. Since we can't touch a lot of stuff initially when we're starting out, from high half elf we can get one cantrip, and the best one here is Minor Illusion. Starting class is cleric, and we can pick 3 cantrips, which will be Guidance, insanely broken and most powerful cantrip ever that will help you in all dialogues, Sacred Flame, just to be able to do some damage, and another dialogue helper is Thaumaturgy. As cleric we can prepare 4 spells from the beginning, and it will be pretty easy and straightforward stuff. Guiding Bolt for our range spell, melee spell will be Inflict Wounds, Healing Word as the best spell to pick up your teammates, and maybe just in case you can have fun with Command spell. And that's our starting ability point distribution. We're going with 12 strength, since clerics are using these maces and other strength-based weapons, so we want to have at least some bonus to our hit chance. Although we won't use weapons a lot, most of all we will be focusing on spells. That's why main spellcasting ability for clerics is Wisdom, and we're going with 16 points in it with +2 bonus. And with +1 bonus we're making our dexterity to 16. This will give us ability to act faster in combat with more initiative. Also we will have higher armor class and nice bonuses to our ability to stay on foot. And last but not least is Constitution. We will have 14 points in Constitution, so we will have more hit points and therefore we will live more. For skill proficiencies, you can go with Persuasion and Medicine. And just like that, Shadowheart is ready to go. Without any problems, you will get out of the ship and already will become level 2 Shadowheart. Don't worry about levels too much right now, because to make the most broken and powerful Shadowheart, we will need to respec her. So just get your level and go to adventure. And early game cleric is very nice and powerful party member. For example, if someone going for intimidation check, you can easily add bonus and have Thaumaturgy to have advantage on roll and roll 2 dice instead of 1. And for any other roll you can go with Guidance. That will add +1 d4 to this roll. And if you're lucky, you will just ignore all fights altogether. In a fight as Shadowheart you will have multiple options. One of them is Invoke Duplicity. It will use Channel Divinity Charge, and basically you will create illusion. Around this illusion there will be an area that you will have advantage on attack rolls. And this means insanely high attack chance. That's pretty nice and powerful ability actually. Especially considering our spells, and Inflict Wounds is one of the most powerful early game spells that will do 3d10 damage, so up to 30 damage, against targets that have maximum of 20 health, and this spell using attack roll, so basically you will have high chance to just destroy your targets really easily, or cripple them down to almost non-existent. Another way how cleric can assist party with Guiding Bolt. It will use level 1 spell slot as other spells of course, and basically you will inflict debuff on enemy. It's using attack roll 2, but you will need to rely only on your wisdom to make this attack roll, so chances to hit not will be insanely high, but still pretty high to make a hit, and if you hit, then you or your ally will have advantage on next attack roll, no matter it will be attack or even spell attack roll. So that's basically how cleric works. When you're out of spell slots, the Sacred Flame is an answer. It will do 1d8 radiant damage, and it requires no attack roll, but it will make creature to take dexterity saving throw. So this guy got pretty high dexterity, 15, and that's pretty obvious because he got a bow, he is basically like ranger or rogue, but mages will have lower dexterity. So this mage got only 10 dexterity, therefore trying to make Sacred Flame on this ranger will have only 40% chance success rate, while on this mage it will be 60%. Still, your normal attack will have higher chance always. That's why use Sacred Flame only if you're out of range of your normal attack. And we are here in Dun Crypt, because that's the place you want to visit to finally respec your Shadowheart. And Forgotten Crypts is always full of undeads. That's why all clerics got Turn Undead spell, which is pretty fun. So you will cast the spell and every undead that sees you, so as you can see this guy right now can't see us, we see it based on the circle around him. It got no points inside, and now it's vice versa when we're standing on the bottom part over here, so you need to be really precise with your positioning when you're trying to cast the spell, but basically that's how it works. So turn is condition. When affected creature basically turned, they will dash away and can't attack. They can't take actions, bonus actions, so they will be completely useless. And we get 35% chance to turn them. In reality, in my experience, it's pretty high chance actually, and that's insanely powerful against undeads. That's why never forget this Channel Divinity spell. So it's using no spell slots, it's Channel Divinity action, and you get 2 of them basically. Invoke Duplicity to have this advantage on attack rolls, and turn undead against undeads. They will recharge on short rest, so basically just rest between each combat, and you will have one of these options. And it looks like this, so he's turned and he's just running away. Funniest part that he will probably try to run on the next turn too, but he is not turned anymore. Still, he is down. And after exploring these ruins, wizards will come into your camp. You can ask him to change your class, and that's where the build begins. So here's the tricky part. I will show you completely optimized and final build, but you want to actually go and play the game and make this Respec at level 6. But this will be second Respec. So first one will be now, and you will just start as cleric, and you will do everything. I will show you what cleric should do. But to make the most powerful cleric ever, you want to start as fighter. Yeah, as fighter. And starting ability points will be the same, but this time we will change dexterity and constitution. We want high constitution to keep concentration. Fighting style will be defense, so we can get this additional bonus armor class. That's really useful stuff for clerics. But most useful stuff as a fighter will be your constitution saving throw proficiency, which will add your proficiency to your constitution saving throws to keep your concentration. Also, fighter basically gives you ability to use every weapon, every armor you will find, but that's not a big deal for this build, especially considering our items that we will get later. So starting cantrip will still be a minor illusion, and basically that's our first level at level 6. Then from second level and so on, we will start as cleric, or basically continue our way as cleric, but we're not going with trickery domain, which is main domain from Shadowheart. We will go with light domain. So light is insanely powerful domain with a lot of spells that using light, or like fire. For example, Burning Hands is your level 1 spell, and that's really useful and powerful stuff. But most importantly, you will have this Warding Flare. This gives you ability to use your reaction to impose disadvantage on attackers. So if attackers hit you, you can impose disadvantage and they will miss you. Then when we advance, it will become Advanced Warding Flare, so we can do it for our allies and save them. That's insanely powerful stuff. And starting spells will be again completely the same that we used before. The most big power spike will be at level 2, so you already should be at least level 3 right now if you're starting as cleric, and basically you will have this level. What we have right now is new Channel Divinity, and it's Radiance of Dawn, so it's 2d10 radiant damage. And this changes everything what we can do. That's insanely powerful stuff. It gets insane radius. You will see it in a minute, and we will talk about spells later. So then you will build cleric level 3. That's where you will unlock some spells from level 2, and basically you don't need to make any choices, but as light domain cleric you will unlock Scorching Ray, which is insanely powerful fire spell, and also Flaming Sphere. It will require concentration, it will give you bold threat, but whatever. Level 4, that's the level you will be finishing Act 1 basically. So at the end of Act 1 you should be around level 4. And I'm talking about Act 1 without considering Underdark, of course. So here at Cleric level 4, you will get additional cantrips, and for some reason I don't have Thaumaturgy, so let's pick this up. But most importantly, we're unlocking Feat, and we don't need to make anything crazy. Most of the time, Clerics going with something like Resilient at this time of the game, and adding +1 into Constitution, so they can have this proficiency in Constitution saving throws. But we already covered it with Picking Fighter as level 1, and we get +1 armor class, which is a lot better than just getting Resilient feat. That's why we can go with Warcaster feat. So Warcaster is just insane. You will have advantage on saving throws to maintain concentration. This means we will roll 2 dice instead of 1, and chances to keep concentration will be higher by additional 20-25%. Also, we can use our reaction to cast Shocking Grasp at moving targets and basically just finish them up with 2d8 damage right now, or it will be a little bit higher later when we advance through the game. And that's the final level where you make this decision to go into Respec into Fighter level 1. So before level 6 you want to continue normally to level 5 as Cleric to get to this level. So level 5 of Cleric will give you Destroy Undead. When you turn them, they will take 4 to 24 radiant damage. That's pretty big stuff. But most importantly, we unlocking spells from level 3, and of course Spirit Guardians, which is insanely powerful stuff considering the item build we will go for in Act 1. Also, you will unlock Fireball, which is cool fire spell, and Daylight, which is insanely useful throughout the game against a lot of enemies. So, first of all, I would not suggest using Flaming Spheres, so let's get it out and talk about our spells right now, what we want to have. You definitely want to have Sacred Flame still, just in case you need some, like, cantrip damage from afar. You definitely want to keep your Light cantrip. Light is pretty useful, you cast it on yourself or on your allies and it will light up targets so they can't hide in shadows. Fairy Fire is concentration spell that will give you basically attack rolls on enemies, I mean advantage on attack rolls against enemies, but most of the time with this build you want to not keep concentration on this stuff so you can take it away. And that's what we are left with. So that's our fire spells. You can use them just in case maybe enemy is vulnerable to fire or standing in some like fire, oily surface, so you want some fire. Or you want like big fireball to go and destroy enemies, in a large radius, like something like this. This is just in case row, so we got Second Wind, just in case we can use it every short rest with bonus action to heal ourselves for 1d10 plus 1 damage, plus 1 health of course. Then we get our Daylight, just in case we need some sun, and there's 2 types of Daylight, enchant item for 20 turns or Sphere until long rest. Of course use Sphere every time, but it uses level 3 spell slot and you won't need it a lot before Act 2, so just don't worry about it too much. Turn Undead, still useful against undeads of course, and that spells that always will be prepared. Now what we need to prepare as Cleric. So first of all, we want to have our healing stuff. It will be Healing Word, it will be Mass Healing Word, and also it will be Revivify. So that's our healing row over here. It's level 1 Healing Word spell that you will cast on your allies when they down. Don't use it to heal them because it's just bonus action, and by using this bonus action on your teammates you can easily pick them up when they down. If multiple allies is downed, go for Mass Healing Word of course, it will heal a lot of allies in the radius. And if you're failed to heal them and pick them up, Revivify is the spell, you just casting this stuff and you will pick them up. Then stuff that you will use outside of battles. Enhance ability. Basically you can use this stuff and there's multiple options, 6 exactly, that can boost your ability. For example, Eagle will boost your charisma checks and give you advantage on these checks. So if you know that you're in some place of the game where there will be a lot of dialogues, just cast it on someone with high charisma and he will have 2 rolls instead of 1 on charisma checks. And you don't even need to cast it preemptively, you will see it and you can use it as like reaction in dialogue. It uses concentration though, so you can't use it with guidance at the same time. Guidance is concentration spell too, so you don't even need to have it on your hotbar, just prepare it. Nice stuff for fights is Spiritual Weapon because it's using only bonus action but it consumes spell slot, and in my experience I just don't like this extra body that doing 1d8 force damage. It's not a big deal. Instead I like to have 8 on my Cleric and that's really powerful stuff. Yeah, it consumes spell slot, but you can cast it to level 3 spell slot and gain 10 additional health, and even at level like 6 right now, 10 additional health is more than 20%. 20% additional health is really like great stuff. And of course we want to prepare Spirit Guardians. That's our main fighting spell. Other spells can be any spells of your choice that you like to use or you need right now. Maybe you need to remove curse to remove curses like in the game. Maybe like a command spell to make enemies drop, or just whatever you actually need. But right now we need to be extra overpowered, therefore we need some extra items. So let's get them up. First item is really easy to get. This guy Walla in Druid Grove is the guy we are looking for. And to get it you need to initiate dialogue with him, but instead of continuing this dialogue because he will run away, you want to go into trade option. You can obviously do it later, but it's better to do it as fast as possible right now, basically. So Whispering Promise is the rank we are looking for. When you heal a creature, it gains 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and saving throws for 2 turns. That's just best in slot ring for clerics. And it works extremely well. Basically, right now I got 65% chance to hit this guard, but after healing myself, yeah, it works on yourself too, we got this bless buff right now on us, and it's 75%. Actually, it's not 75, it's from 70 to around like 85% chance, because it's 1d4 additional damage. And sorry, yeah, I mean chance to hit. The next item that is really powerful is a little bit later in the game, but you actually can get it pretty easy and pretty fast. All you need to do is to go into Goblin Camp in Shattered Sanctum and just go over this bridge instead of going through the closed door. And there's another closed door, so here we're just using a lockpick, of course. And if you unlock this door, you will be in the next place. There will be a big goblin here, big troll, and you actually need to destroy this big lady. It's pretty easy to do with a party. If you're doing this solo, you can go on the ladder and fight from the distance. But anyway, when you get rid of her, there's a chest right behind, and right in this chest, there's Amulet of Misty Step. Coolest part, this Misty Step will recharge on short rest. So again, you kinda can use it every fight and just recharge it with short rest between. Anyway, after leaving this room, just go forward and there will be a puzzle room that will give us access to Underdark. There's multiple ways how you can get to Underdark differently, but going through this place will give us access to exactly location we're looking for, Selûnite Outpost. To the right side there is a teleport location, and basically here on the top floor will be 2 chests. One of them is locked and trapped. In the locked and trapped chest there's luminous armor. When the bearer deals radiant damage, you're causing Radiant Shockwave, which will inflict Radiating Orb in 3-meter radius. And Radiating Orb is an insanely cool buff, so basically affected entity will have -1 to attack rolls, and you can treat it as bonus to armor class. The next 2 items we're looking in Act 1 is Boots of Striding. This boots is weared by Mintara, and yeah, you need to destroy her to get this boot, but they are really powerful because when you cast a spell that requires concentration, you gain momentum for 1 turn. We will cast the spell every time, and basically it will increase our movement speed, so we can move a lot more, focus down more targets in 1 single turn. And while we're concentrating, we can't be knocked prone or moved against our will. This is really powerful stuff, because that's one of the ways how to break our concentration. And another important item is Adamantine Shield. It's really powerful shield. When attackers missing you, they will go reeling and they will have -1 to attack rolls, so a lot more armor class for the next turns, basically, if someone misses you, and they will miss a lot. But also attackers can't land a critical hits, and critical hits is a really special stuff. It's not only the hit that will basically do more damage to you. Critical hit means it hits you, so no matter how high your armor class, if someone rolling 20, they will hit you, and hit pretty hard. With this shield, it's no longer the deal. Basically, they can't hit us no more. To get this shield, you need to go to Adamantine Forge, and you will craft it by yourself. And we will get 2 next really important items for our build in Rosemary Monastery in Mountain Pass. So first one will be on the top of this structure, basically this church, and it's called Holy Lance Helm. Now when creatures miss their attack rolls against us, they will need to make dexterity saving throw or take additional radiant damage. And also when you finish this place, there is Blood of Lathander Mace. It's really powerful stuff, because when you die, you actually regain hit points and get up instantly, and also heal your teammates. Also, it's always lighting, so all undeads will be kind of blinded and really will have hard times against you. And there's a level 6 Sunbeam spell that doing radiant damage, but it recharges only on long rest, so be careful while you're using it. Use it only if you need it. But technically build is ready and already insanely OP. This is especially powerful considering we will go into Act 2 right now to finish this build, and in Act 2 there's a lot of undeads and most of of them will be blinded. You will have advantage on attack rolls against blinded creatures, so it's really easy to hit. But that's how we start a fight. Basically, turn number 1, we want to turn on Spirit Guardians. And there's 2 options. We will go for radiant damage most of the time. Just make sure enemies don't have resistance to radiant damage or can retaliate this to you. And that's the radius. The Guardians will circle around. And what we do right now, we basically run around. With momentum from our boots, we will have additional 1 meter of movement speed, and we can have nice time just by going around and inflicting damage with Spirit Guardians. Every time we're doing this radiant damage, enemies is lighted up, so as you can see they got radiant in orb right now. And when we're out of movement speed, we can use Misty Step from our amulets to go into the other location and inflict even more radiating orb upon our targets. Now it's enemy turn, so let's see what they can do. He is missing us and he is already reeling, so he will have a lot lower chance to actually do any damage. Now, this guy needs 20 to hit us. He needs to roll 20. This means he needs to basically roll critical hit. But even if he's rolling 20, we can go and impose disadvantage on him with Warding Flare. Yeah, he rolled again, so he is really lucky dude. Anyway, when enemies come close, they will take additional radiant damage from time to time and will basically impose even more radiating orb upon themselves. When they miss, they will go into reeling state, and basically you're looking how enemies coming close and destroying themselves. When enemy hit us, it's really easy. Oh my god, that's beautiful. So, it's easy to keep our concentration. Let's see. That's where we was hit for 6 damage. Now we need to do saving throw to keep our concentration, and it will be based on damage we take. Right now we haven't took a lot of damage, and that's most of the time will be the case, so difficulty class is just 10. We need to roll at least 10 to keep this stuff, and we got +3 from proficiency, that's because we picked fighter at level 1. We get +1 from Holy Lance Helm, and +3 from Constitution modifier, that's just basic stuff, so already we get +6. This means we need to roll at least 4 to keep concentration. But with advantage, it's almost impossible to miss this concentration. That makes keeping this concentration extremely easy, and even after first turn, a lot of enemies got 5 or even 10 radiating orb stacks. 10 stacks means this guy basically got 0% chance to hit us. And if he misses, he needs to make dexterity saving throw or take additional radiant damage. So that's like crazy part, and that's how it amplifies. All of these guys got 10 radiating orb stacks, they basically can't hit us, and that's how it looks like basically. He hit us and now he is reeling. This means he got again minus penalty to attack rolls. And we basically walking around, provoking opportunity attacks, making everyone miss us, and when they miss, sometime they will even take additional radiant damage, like this guy right now. And that's only walking. That's only walking on turn 2. What we want to do on turn 2, we want to use Radiance of the Dawn. It will use Channel Divinity Charge. We get only 1, but it recharges on short rest, so basically just short rest between each combat, and it will do more radiant damage upon these targets. Some of them is dead already, most of them got 10 radiating orb, 2 reeling, so basically they got -12 to attack rolls. It's impossible to hit us, and we can just end turn and watch how they destroy themselves. They won't even try to hit us most of the time because it's basically impossible. Here's turning ghouls, but he is almost dead already. They trying to hit, they trying to run, and that's basically how the fight looks like solo. On the next turn you can do whatever you want. Basically you got some fire spells, you can do basic attacks with our weapon, and you know why? Because it hits for pretty nice damage too, and we got advantage on most of these enemies, so chance to hit is just really high. But again, main strategy is to just walk around, inflict damage, and then finish them off. If enemies is really hard, don't forget we got this Sunbeam, and that's insanely powerful stuff. And that's how you fight with one of the most broken Shadowhearts ever. So what will happen when we go into Act 2? That's the place where we become completely broken. And in Act 2 there's a bunch of items we are really looking for. The first one will be in the chest. Easiest way to find it by using coordinates. So we're looking for X -52, Y 11. Basically this chest. Inside the chest there's luminous gloves, and this gloves is just part of our luminous set. So now whenever we're doing radiant damage, we did an additional 2 radiating orb upon target. How powerful it is just insanely broken. So in just 2 turns we basically can do full radiating orb build up, because with 1 instance of radiant damage we're doing 4 radiating orb stacks from now on. And this means in 2 turns enemies will have full radiating orb stacks. Another ring that will completely dominate and destroy our enemies is Coruscation ring. It will add additional 2 points of radiating orb upon targets when we're doing spell damage by when we eliminate it by a light source. And Blood of Lathander, our mace, is always making us eliminated by a light source, or we can basically use light cantrip upon us at the start of the day. A ring that you possibly can think of is Callous Glow ring. This ring is really powerful because you will do additional 2 points of radiant damage upon targets when they are eliminated. But the problem, again, you will have additional damage, not a lot, just 2 points. But you will need to sacrifice Whispering Promise. I really like to keep Whispering Promise on my cleric, so I will have additional bonus 1d4 to attack rolls on my party when I need to heal them, or when I just want to heal them. And basically with all this radiating orbs, enemies will miss us a lot. That's why Flesh Melter Cloak is great stuff. Whenever creature deals melee damage, the creature takes 1d4 acid damage. So there's high chance that enemies will miss us. When they missing us, they will probably take radiant damage. But when they hit us, eventually, probably they can do it, like sometime. Let's just find out. They will take acid damage instead, and that's like insanely powerful stuff. So right now we're stuck in one place, they're trying to do their stuff, but that's just impossible to do anything to us. That's how powerful this cleric is, and if enemies try to run away and hide, you're just using your Misty Step to go right to them and destroy these sneaky bastards. That's how we roll, basically. Completely broken Shadowheart? I think so. But this lady will become even more broken when we get straight to the Act 3. However, we will already be leveled up, so that's how we level in Act 2. Level 7 we take 1 more level in Cleric, and this will give us improved Warding Flare. That's what I told you about, and basically we will become even more powerful support for our allies. Level 8 will unlock some light domain spells, which is Wall of Fire, pretty nice concentration spell, but again we will concentrate mostly on Spirit Guardians, and Guardian of Face, pretty nice stuff. But using level 4 spell slot, we don't have enough spell slots to have it all the time. Still pretty fun spell. Dash Ward is a nice buff that you can cast on your allies, so they will be resurrected with 1 hit point when they downed. Pretty nice stuff. And level 9 is 1 more level in Cleric. But coolest part, we get potent spell casting, we can add wisdom modifier to damage we deal with our cantrips. We're not using cantrips a lot, but that's a nice buff for us. Most importantly, right now at level 9 we will unlock Feat. And this feat will be just ability improvement plus 2 into wisdom. This will make our spells basically do more damage, because we will have higher chance to inflict full damage instead of half. So technically nothing will change in our strategy of fighting and our playstyle. And coolest part, basically when you enter Act 3, you will be completely viable and insanely powerful. So when you enter the lower city, you will already advance few levels. And that's where we actually finish the build. So first of all, we're getting 1 more level in Cleric, finishing level 9 Cleric right now, with some additional spells that require concentration, so we're not using them a lot, only when we need them. Same goes for Cleric level 11, when we unlock Cantrip, we don't care about this Cantrip no more. Most importantly, we will get this Divine Intervention, and we will use it just in a second. And level 12, of course, it's 1 more level in Cleric, just to unlock our late game buff Hero's Feast. If you're using correct amulets, I would actually use 8 upcasted to level 6, and then we'll restore this spell slot with Hero's Feast, and basically we will buff ourselves to 138 HP already. Or you can upcast 8 to level 5, it doesn't matter, you will have more than 130 HP. So most importantly right now at this place of the game, basically we're going to go into these double doors in the lower city, and there's a dude over here. Weaker Humble Tools in the Stormchurch Tabernacle. That's where we want to talk with him and initiate trade instantly. So he's selling a bunch of cool stuff, and the stuff we're looking for is the Sacred Star. So let's just buy it for now, because technically it's one of their optional items. In this church, basically, if you look to the left, there is a ornate wooden hatch. You want to lockpick it silently, and after getting inside, there's a bunch of traps, so be careful not to step on them. You can just avoid them pretty easily, go into the door, and there will be a chest. So, in the chest, Amulet of Devote. We got Misty Step, it's pretty cool, but we can have +2 bonus to spell save DC, and also 1 additional channel divinity charge every long rest, so that's pretty nice stuff. And we can use it against most powerful enemies or just wear it, so we have this +2 bonus to spell save DC. But when you take it, you will be cursed. And it's pretty easy to remove curse, you just need to heal yourself. After healing yourself, curse will be removed, and you will leave a bunch of enemies here in the cellar so you can go and evade, just by escaping. So that's easiest way how to get this amulet. And the last but not least item we will get by divine interventioning ourselves. Basically just use divine intervention, and there's a bunch of them. We're looking for Arm Tie Servant. That will grant you legendary weapon. So now we need to decide what we want to use actually. You can throw away Blood of Lathander away, and basically you can use Amulet of Devote. I think it's really powerful stuff. But now stuff that we need to question. So first of all, do we still want this luminous armor? Because now in Act 3 we can have this armor of persistence. All incoming damage will be reduced by 2 on top of resistance and blade ward. Resistance gives us +1d4 to saving throws, blade ward halves the damage from basic attacks. So that's insanely powerful stuff, and also our armor will become 23 instead of just 20. Is this a big deal? Not for us, because we still can inflict a lot of radiant orb, and luminous armor is part of it. So basically every instance of radiant damage is basically +2 to your armor class. But armor of persistence is insanely powerful stuff, and extra powerful against basic attacks, against magic attacks, because it will reduce damage, and it's just heavy armor, so you can actually dump your dexterity if you want and have more strength, so you can respec. And the second question, do we choose Devotee's Mace versus Sacred Star? So in terms of damage, Devotee's Mace is a little bit more powerful. It got higher basic damage and higher top damage, and also it got nice enchantment, so it's +3 instead of +2. This means you will hit more often. What is cool stuff, when you miss with Sacred Star, you get tenacity, so you will do additional bludgeoning damage. A little bit, but still you will inflict this damage. While with Devotee's Mace you can miss completely. Devotee's Mace got a really nice action, and it can be used as bonus action. That's, in my opinion, the main and most important reason why you want to pick this mace up. So on first turn you can use Healing Incense Aura with Spirit Guardians. This aura will heal you every turn for 10 turns. This means you and your party will have additional 1d4 chances to attack with attack rolls, and that's really powerful stuff. But it's recharging on long rests, so it will be only one fight where you can use it between long rests. On top of it, it's extra radiant damage, 1d8 radiant damage, which is a really nice one. But Sacred Star got 1d4 radiant damage, but higher basic damage, it's 1d8. It got pretty nice and cool passive ability, Sanctified Weapon. Undead creatures struck by this weapon are possibly turned, but the problem, there is not a lot of undeads in Act 3. That's why, it's not really most useful stuff. But what is useful is extra cool weapon abilities. So Heart Stopper can be used every short rest, possibly inflicts chest trauma. It's really unique stuff, and enemy will have disadvantage on Constitution saving throws and has one fewer action. Basically all enemies have just one action. This means you can just destroy all actions from enemy for 2 turns. That's insanely powerful stuff, especially if you can inflict it to boss. Boss won't do anything for 2 turns basically. It's basically stun. On top of it you got Concussive Smash, which is basic stuff. Enemy will lose bonus of dexterity to armor class, so that's fine. And that's another unique stuff, Dawnbuster Strike. You're dealing additional radiant damage equal to your proficiency bonus, and enemies around you need to succeed on Constitution saving throw or they will be blinded. All attacks against blinded creatures will have advantage, they will have disadvantage on attack rolls, and if you can blind enemies and have advantage with attack rolls, that's just insane actually. And that's the choice you will need to make. But I hope you enjoyed this completely broken and nice Shadowheart build for main character or for your party member. See you in the next videos, guys.